The envelope was heavy cream cardstock embossed with gold, a sleek yet slicing through cerulean waves on the front. Inside, looping script announced the Parker family's annual summer cruise, a celebration of success. I ran my fingers over the raised lettering, remembering last year's embarrassment, when my brother Marcus had conveniently forgotten to send me an invitation. But not this year. This year, they couldn't ignore me. I'm Sarah Parker, and I was about to give my family the surprise of their lives. Just as I finished reviewing my company's quarterly reports, my phone rang. "Sarah!" My mother's voice oozed with rehearsed concern. "We need to talk about the cruise." I leaned back in my leather chair, staring out the window of my penthouse office. Below, the marina sparkled in the sun. My latest acquisition, the Aurora, a 300-foot luxury yacht, was docked and undergoing final preparations. "What about it, Mom?" She sighed dramatically. "Well, darling, your brother thinks, and I agree, that this year's cruise should be a bit more selective." Selective? I watched workers polish the Aurora's gleaming exterior. They didn't know they were working for the owner. "You know how these things are," she continued, carefully evasive. "Your father's partners, Marcus investors, we have a certain image to uphold." Ah, yes, the image. The perfect Parker family. Successful parents, their golden son, and the daughter who walked away from the family firm to build something silly online. That silly venture now set at a $4.2 billion valuation. "And I don't fit that image," I said calmly, watching one of my smaller yachts glide through the harbor. "Sarah, please don't make this difficult," she replied. "You know your situation. Well, it's just embarrassing. People ask what you do, and your little online thing. It's not exactly success, is it?" I smiled. On my desk sat the final acquisition papers for a major competitor. "I understand, Mom." "Oh, thank goodness." Marcus was worried you'd make a scene. Marcus, the flawless older brother who never worked outside Daddy's empire, while I built mine from nothing. "No scene," I promised. "But I'll come to the marina to see you off." "That's not necessary." "I insist," I said, my tone slicing cleanly. "Family is family." After hanging up, I called my assistant. "Maria, is everything ready for tomorrow?" "Yes, Miss Parker. The captain and crew are briefed." She paused. "Are you sure you want to go through with it this way?" I thought of decades of being sidelined, seated at the kids' table at holidays, dismissed and patronized. "Absolutely." The next morning, I arrived early at the marina and waited in my car as the Parkers rolled in, Marcus in his leased Ferrari, Dad's Bentley, Mom's customized Range Rover. All flash, all borrowed. I stepped out, dressed in simple linen pants and a white blouse, understated, deliberate. "Sarah," Marcus called, smirking. "Come to see what real success looks like." He gestured behind him to the Aurora, its 6 decks glittering in the sun. "Something like that," I said, smiling. "Oh, darling." Mom air kissed my cheek. "You didn't need to come. I know seeing all this must be hard for you." I watched my crew, load supplies with efficient precision. "Not at all, Mom. I just wanted to make sure everything's perfect." "Perfect for what?" Dad asked, frowning as he adjusted his Rolex. "You're not actually thinking of joining us?" Marcus laughed loudly, his pack of preened investor friends following suit. "This cruise is for successful people," he said. "No freeloaders." I noticed a few of his friends hiding grins. I was the Parker family cautionary tale, the daughter who rejected a handout to chase a pipe dream. Then a voice called from the yacht. "Miss Parker, we're ready for boarding." My father looked confused. "That's strange. The captain should be talking to me. I arranged this rental." "Did you?" I raised an eyebrow. "Are you sure?" Before he could reply, the captain descended the gangway, uniform pristine, face unreadable. "Captain," Marcus said, stepping forward. "I'm Marcus Parker. We spoke about—" The captain brushed past him, stopping in front of me. He saluted. "Welcome aboard your yacht, Miss Parker. Everything is prepared to your specifications." Silence. Even the seagulls seemed to stop. "Your yacht!" Mom's voice was barely audible. I pulled out my phone, showing them a photo of me signing the purchase documents 6 months ago. "Did you really think you could rent this yacht for your little cruise? The Aurora has been quite selective since I bought it, along with most of this marina." Marcus went pale. But that's not possible. This yacht costs $180 million. I finished for him. Plus customization. I held up my phone. Would you like to see the paperwork? They stared at me, stunned. But this was just the beginning. My father recovered first, his face a mix of irritation and calculation. Now, Sarah, he said, stepping closer. Let's talk, family to family. If you've reached this level of success, perhaps it's time to fold your company into Parker Investments. For the legacy. I smiled, remembering how they'd laughed at my business plan 5 years ago. You mean the company you dismissed as a foolish little side project? The one you said would fail without the Parker name. That's in the past, he waved a hand. Let's look ahead, to the legacy. I turned toward the crowd of guests, all now whispering, watching. Let me tell you about legacy, I said. 6 years ago, I pitched a startup idea to Parker Investments. My father and brother told me it was doomed to fail, then offered me a job, Marcus' assistant. Marcus looked down, his designer loafers suddenly fascinating. What they didn't know was that I'd already raised $50 million in venture capital. That little startup now owns your largest competitor. My mother's polished facade began to crack. But you work from that tiny office downtown. I smiled. That tiny office is the entire top floor of the Parker building, which, incidentally, I bought last year. The dock fell silent once more, save for the quiet lapping of water against the hull. I turned back to the captain. Let's begin boarding, shall we? Yes, Miss Parker, he said with a nod. As I walked up the gangway, I didn't look back. I didn't need to. This time, they would be the ones left on the dock. The invitation arrived in an ivory envelope, gold embossed with an image of a yacht slicing through crystalline waters. Inside, elegant script declared the Parker family's annual summer cruise, a celebration of wealth, success, and exclusivity. Last year, they'd accidentally forgotten to invite me. This year, they'd have no choice. My name is Sarah Parker. And this time, I was the one with surprises. The phone rang as I reviewed quarterly reports in my penthouse office overlooking the marina. I didn't need to check the caller ID. Sarah. My mother's voice dripped with faux concern. We need to talk about the cruise. What about it? A sigh. Well, darling, Marcus and I think this year should be more selective. Selective. I looked out the window at my newest acquisition, a 300-foot yacht gleaming in the sun, undergoing final preparations. You know how these things are, she continued. Important business contacts. We have to maintain a certain image. And I don't fit that image, I said coolly. Sweetheart, she tried. Your little online business, it's just not what we mean by success. That little business had just acquired its largest competitor for $4.2 billion. I understand, Mom, I said. She sounded relieved. I'm so glad. Marcus was worried you might make a scene. Oh, no scene, I promised. But I will come to see you off. Family is family, after all. After I hung up, I called my assistant. Maria, everything ready for tomorrow? Yes, Miss Parker. The captain and crew have their instructions. She hesitated. Are you sure you want to do it this way? I thought of the years I'd been seated at the kids' table. The parties where Marcus was praised for closing deals he didn't understand while my startup was treated like a hobby. I'm sure. The next morning, I arrived early and watched the procession of leased luxury cars roll in. Marcus' Ferrari, Dad's Bentley, Mom's Range Rover. They stepped out dressed in designer resort wear, ready to show off. I stepped out too, in simple linen pants and a white blouse. Sarah, Marcus called with a signature smirk, came to see what success looks like. He gestured at the yacht. The Aurora. Pristine. 6 decks. A helipad. I'd spent months customizing it. Something like that, I said with a smile. My mother air-kissed my cheek. You didn't have to come, dear. I know this must be hard for you. Not at all, I replied. I just wanted to make sure everything was perfect. For what? My father asked. You're not thinking of boarding, are you? Marcus laughed. This is for successful people. I watched my crew. Yes, my crew. Load supplies with quiet efficiency. Then the captain appeared, striding down the gangway. Marcus stepped forward. Captain, we spoke on the phone. But the captain walked right past him, stopping in front of me. Welcome aboard, Miss Parker, he said with a salute. Your yacht is ready. Silence. Your yacht, My mother echoed in disbelief. I pulled out my phone and showed a photo of me signing the purchase papers 6 months ago. Did you think you could rent one of the most exclusive yachts in the world without running into its owner? I asked sweetly. Marcus stammered. That's not possible. This yacht costs $180 million, I finished. Give or take a few million in customizations. They hadn't seen anything yet. My father was the first to recover. Let's talk. If you've reached this level of success, maybe it's time to integrate your company into Parker Investments. I smiled. You mean the company you called a pipe dream? The one you offered to save by making me Marcus' assistant? The past is the past. Right, I said. Let's talk about the future. I nodded to the captain. He handed a thick folder to my father. What's this? He asked, flipping through. An offer, I said. To buy Parker Investments. His eyes widened. You're joking. I'm offering 30 cents on the dollar. Which is generous, considering the SEC investigation you've tried to keep quiet. Marcus paled. How do you know about that? I know everything, including the fact that you need an injection of capital by the end of the month to stay solvent. The folder slipped from my father's hands, scattering papers across the dock. But that would mean, my mother trailed off, that I'd own everything, I said. The company, the building, the name. A junior executive nearby cleared his throat. Actually, I already work for Sarah. Most of us do. She's been quietly buying out firms for the past 2 years. Guests began stepping away from my family and toward me. Now, about this cruise, I said, signaling Maria, who handed out new itineraries. You'll notice a few changes. The yacht will be hosting a tech summit now, real entrepreneurs, not trust fund babies. Marcus looked ready to explode. You can't do this. Actually, one of his supposed friends said, we're here because she invited us. My mother sat down heavily on a bench, her composure unraveling. You let us think you were a failure, she whispered. I met her eyes. I wanted to see how far you'd go to exclude me. Consider it a social experiment. My father stepped forward, angry now. You'd throw your family out? Over what? Pride? No, I said. Over principle. I turned to the captain. Please begin boarding. The tender will take the rest back to shore. Marcus blinked. The what? The small boat, I said slowly. The big one's reserved for successful people. As they trudged toward the tender, I handed each of them an envelope. Inside, a photo of them standing on the dock, surrounded by luxury that wasn't theirs, eyes wide with shock. Something to remember the day by, I said. Oh, and Dad, you have 24 hours to accept my offer. Or I call the SEC. You'd do that to your own family? Mom gasped. Was it family when you called me a disappointment? Silence. One last thing, I added. My company just hit a $12 billion market cap. That's 12 times what yours was worth before Marcus started getting creative with the books. My brother looked like he might faint. 1 year later, I received another invitation. This time, the venue was a modest restaurant. I showed up wearing the same simple outfit. They looked different now, humbled. Sarah, Marcus approached me awkwardly. I'm sorry. For underestimating me? I asked. Or for losing everything because of it? He didn't answer. I stood and addressed the room. Success isn't yachts or names or expensive suits. It's vision, hard work, belief, even when no one else believes in you. I left as the headlines buzzed across my phone. Parker Tech launches Innovation Center for the Undervalued. My family had taught me plenty, mostly what not to be. As for Marcus, he works in the mailroom at my company now. Entry level only. No failures allowed.